Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to the Bounty Hunter series here in Elite Dangerous. I'm experiencing something kind of weird right now. I've gone to 3 different stations, and none of them have the kind of infiltration missions that we typically try to do. I went to both of the stations in the Maka system. I even came back to Jameson Memorial, and there's not much happening in the way of, you know, the super spy secret stuff. So today we have a pair of missions. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go visit a crash site to recover some documentation, and then we have a professional takedown mission that we're going to try to get done. So we'll go do the I guess it's in this system. We'll go ahead and do the grabbing of the thing here first. Let's see. Do I need? It's from a crash site, so I should be able to just put a landfall, planets and moons. Lock this guy in here, and we can get out of the station. Head over, and hopefully, you know, you never know with these recovery missions. Sometimes people decide to come and fight you, so we'll see if that ends up happening. Otherwise, we just got to get there really quick, grab the stuff, head over to another site, shoot somebody in the head, and then come back here and turn in all of our stuff. But yeah, the last couple of days I've been noticing that missions have become a little bit more difficult to come by, and I'm not sure why. It's actually kind of frustrating because, you know, we're trying. We have a nice little pattern established. At least I have a nice little pattern established that makes it relatively easy to hop in, grab a mission, grab a few missions generally. Hit the record button, do a bunch of stuff for you guys, turn in our stuff, and then it's a nice, quick, easy process. But the last few days have just been, the process has become a little bit more difficult. Yeah. It's making me think maybe we need to start shifting over to a different series or something, because it's getting a little bit harder to find the stuff we're usually doing. So yeah, let's get over here. We'll try to find this crash site here. I waited a little bit too long to reduce throttle. Get over here to the body. Ideally, by the time we get to the body, I don't remember if it's a signal source. I think it's a signal source. Well, yeah. And well, no, it would be showing blue by now if that was the one. Let's get close to the planet. We'll be able to see. Should ideally be able to see a signal source show up as we get pretty close. We can get the gravity to stop interfering anyway. Alright, well, we just got to keep an eye on here. So it's on this body. I don't remember what the range is for these, so we're just going to have to kind of keep going until we get there. Okay, it's on the other side of the planet. It says it's threat 2, so that means that there is a pretty decent chance that there's going to be dudes here guarding it, or we're going to go down there and look for some stuff, and they're going to pop in while we're trying to grab whatever we're looking for. With any luck, we'll be able to hop in, find what we're looking for, and then get out of there before anybody decides to come knocking at the door. Manage our speed on the way down. Okay, we're sub 10 kilometers per second. Should be able to start bumping the throttle up as we approach the drop zone. Full throttle and then 0 throttle. All right. So we had a nice little glide coming down here. Let's keep an eye out for what's happening down there. I'm going to approach somewhat carefully, because if there's dudes here, they're going to start shooting at me, and I don't have weapons to hit people on the ground. Oh, that looks like them. That's either them, or it's, I can't tell if that's people, or if that's... Or is this exobiology? Oh, that's exobiology. Okay. Wasn't expecting exobiology. Is anybody here? Well, if they are, we're gonna kill them. Alright. So, we are supposed to find and recover, I think, some data or something like that. That one's locked. Are we able to open this? I don't think so. I think it's just the one container. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, that doesn't do anything for me. I think we're gonna have to go get an E-breach. Because unfortunately that container does not have a mag lock on it that we can cut through. So let's go grab ourselves an E-breach. Hopefully we still have some on the ship. It's been a long time since I've bought any. Manage inventory. Yes. Now let's just move the one because I don't want to forget, and then we end up going to another settlement with an E-breach on us, and then they get mad because we're carrying an E-breach. All right, let's get over here. I'm guessing that since this is pretty much the only container here, that this is what we're looking for. Oh wait, no, there's another one. Goods, goods. That is our personal documents. All right, sweet. So, sometimes the salvage missions can be a little bit boring. Sometimes they can be pretty interesting because you start getting people showing up. So let's get back over to here. We'll go ahead and put our E-breach back into the ship. Hop in and head over to the settlement where we need to go kill somebody. While we wait for us to get on the ship. Eventually. Eventually. It will eventually happen. Why? Maybe taking a sip of coffee will encourage it to go. Maybe? No? No? Okay, well, I guess I'll pause the video until it finally decides to load into the cockpit. And of course, as soon as I hit pause, that's when it decides to do it. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Alright, hop over in here. We gotta go kill Claude McCoy. They are over in Solate. Which, with the extreme range of our Mandalay, is only one jump away. I have to say that as far as, like, bounty hunting goes, while the Cobra is absolutely a much better... is a much better fighter, I feel like the Mandalay is definitely a much better all-rounder. It allows me to add an extra hard point, which allows me to do a little bit more damage. The maneuvering is only a you know, it's noticeably slower than the Cobra, but it's still a pretty highly maneuverable ship. Hold on, let me focus here for a second. We need to head over to a settlement. Where is it? It's right there. Lock that destination in, and we'll head over this way. Bring that ETA down to about 4 seconds. Leave it at full throttle so we don't slow down too much. And again, we're going to be landing. So like I said, I feel like the Mandalay is just... I feel like it's more of a bounty hunter ship than the Cobra is. And the reason why is that, A, the jump range is nicer, so you take fewer jumps to get where you're going. More systems are within a single jump range of where you are. So it takes less time to get to places that might be a little bit further away. So if you have to do, if you have to do random tasks or whatever like that, it doesn't take nearly as long to get to that. And then B, it's a medium-sized ship, which just, it's a medium-sized ship, which just feels better from an aesthetics perspective because, ideally, you would be doing missions where you're not just killing people. Some people, some are going to want to be captured. Some customers are going to want your targets to be captured alive, and it's really hard to store those people on a smaller ship. So having a medium ship gives you a little bit more room for, say, a brig style kind of thing, which I really think they should add to the game. And then number 3, it does have an extra hard point on it, which allows you to shoot things down faster. So while it is a little bit slower, it does do it does do an extra hard point's worth of damage. So I feel like the damage increase makes up for a slightly slower turning ship. I think the actual overall speeds for both ships are about the same. Let's get our night vision turned on since we're going into the dark. I think the actual, the maneuvering speeds are about the same. It's just the Mandalay, because it's a medium-sized ship, it just rotates a fair bit slower. But it's not as slow as like the Corsair. Like the Corsair, this feels like a nice what's the word I'm looking for? A nice compromise between the Corsair, which is definitely a combat-oriented ship, and the Cobra Mark V, which seems to be more combat-oriented than anything else. It also allows you to put a medium... Hold on, I gotta focus for a second. I'm gonna make sure we don't screw this landing up. It also gives you space for a medium-sized... I think it gives you... Well, it gives you room to put a medium-sized SRV bay. I don't think I put one in here because of the other things I put in here, but you could run around with a... and I probably should. I think the only reason I don't have one is because this was still mostly configured for my exploration build. I just swapped out a couple of things to convert it. If you really wanted to make it, an all-rounder build, you could put a 2-slot SRV bay in here and run around with an exploration one, with the exploration SRV and the combat SRV, and have like multiple options for what you want to do. All right, so this is a covert kill mission. We need to find a terminal to locate where they are. Gravity here feels a little high, so we got to keep that in mind as we're doing things. I was hoping that there was going to be a terminal right there. Looks like... There we go. So we're looking for Claude McCoy. It says it's 23 meters this way.
Hey, hold on, Commander.
Sure.
Good, you're clear.
Thanks. Appreciate that. So, they are actually outside. With any luck, we can just run right outside and kill them if there's nobody right here.
Try that again.
I'm certainly not going to complain. I love it when they're by themselves, because then because like when you're doing these covert missions, if they're in the middle of a bunch of people or they're inside a building or something like that, you generally need to disable the settlement alarm so that you don't risk having some kind of stupid thing happen. Because if the settlement alarm goes off, you fail the mission. So with any luck, you're able to get in, get out, kill the people before anybody notices, kill the person before anybody notices. Let's see. Let's get out of here. We'll get line of sight to our jump back to Shinrarta Dezhra, and we'll go get our mission turned in. Boost out of the atmosphere. Once we're out, we should have line of sight. Nope. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Get over this way, and we'll wait for the jump. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because the Mandalay's intended purpose is supposed to be for exploration and all that. That's more or less what it's designed for, but I don't know, the way that it's not a combat vessel by any means. Like, it would not last in a fight against a dedicated combat ship that has a decent pilot against it. Like, I'm not saying that, but as an all-rounder ship, it's pretty much decent in everything it does. So, definitely something to think about as you're choosing what ship you're going to do. If you're trying to do bounty hunting stuff, I think the Mandalay is a solid choice, especially because the elevated landing legs and how close they are together does seem to make landing a lot easier for a medium-sized ship as far as like avoiding terrain and things like that. So it's another bonus. Alright, let's get locked into this. Get our speed down to 5 seconds, or get our ETA down to 5 seconds. And we'll get our quick drop done, get ourselves landed, turn in our missions, and call it a day, I do believe. I think we're going to end up overshooting. It feels like we're going too fast. Yep. There was not much I could do about that because we weren't on target and we were going a little too fast. I didn't feel like I had pushed it that hard, but sometimes you just never know. They call it the loop of shame, but it happens so often. I don't know why it would be shameful. It ends up happening. It's not really a loop of shame if you're trying to do the quick drop. It's going to happen a lot. It's only a loop of shame if you're doing it like the normal way and you somehow miss. like if you miss it doing it the standard way, where you're just leaving it at the proper at the proper speed, then yeah, that makes sense. But let's get some night vision. I know I'm going to run into something here. All right, into the slot we go. 2-2 is right there. Landing gear down, and that's it for that. So, thank you very much for watching this episode of the Bounty Hunter series. Be sure to come back for our next video. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks. Or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links for those of you who prefer to go that route, because some people do like to go outside of YouTube to help out with channels, so that option is there for your convenience. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to come back for the next episode of our Bounty Hunter series, and I'll see you then.